Welcome to Home Fires, a series of online conversations with our gallery artists. During each conversation, we're going to focus on a recent work, as well as exploring some of the broader themes within each of the artist's practices. Today, I'm delighted to be speaking with Gordon Cheung, discussing his recent sculptural installation, Home, which was shown at Edel Assanti earlier this year as part of Gordon's exhibition, Tears of Paradise. I wonder if you can just give a bit of background to your inspiration for that work and some of the ideas behind it.
So Home is an installation of traditional Chinese windows based from a book that I found around about 15 years ago in a thrift shop in Chinatown. These windows, to me, became a representation of a demarcation between one era to the next. So from communism to capitalist communism through the metaphor of home embodied for me by the windows themselves. A few years ago, I went on a Silk Road trip from Xi'an through to Uzbekistan. So it was a fascinating and quite eye-opening trip for me to see the diversity of ethnicity in China. And Xi'an was the old capital, the beginning of the Silk Road. And what it showed, or what it seemed to show to me, was that we had globalization, but at the speed of a camel. That inspired me to look at the modern day history of China in respect to the One Belt, One Road, which is the reignition of the Silk Road. I wanted to try and find a way to capture its relationship between these enormous projects to the unit of a civilization, if you like, the home. And that's where the windows sort of came in as this idea of like meditating on the relationship between the family unit to the civilization in the name of progress.
In Tears of Paradise, you start with the paintings and you arrive at the back of the space at the installation. And I've never seen you install a show with as much purpose as you did when you walked in to the space in the run up to this one, and you had a precise idea of where every single thing went. Could you talk us through that?
So the show is constructed like a book. And so each of the works I think of as being a chapter that's in dialogue with each other, but in a non-linear sort of structure. Although when you walk into the exhibition, you have the widest perspectives on some of the largest projects that China is undergoing. For example, the damming of the Tibetan Plateau river systems, through to the String of Pearls, which is the maritime Silk Road. As you get closer to the paintings, more homes appear, in the paintings themselves, leading through to the installation itself, which is in a way this kind of exploded window installation representing for me multiple homes phasing in and out in reference to the rapid urbanization of China and the disappearances of some of these homes for the greater good of civilization.
In your paintings, it seems like that idea of, because we're talking about China, like this idea of Chineseness itself being something which is in flux seems to be quite an important one.
The way that the paintings are kind of constructed conceptually is there's these timelines between, I suppose, a classic age through to the modern age. And the way that I map that is through generally mythologies and the big projects that are occurring as well. There are these multiple sort of mythologies going on that lead back to even things like classic Chinese painting. And the way that I use those structures within classic Chinese painting, that I draw a parallel with the Romantic Sublime painting as well. So the two parallels that I make there are the use of minute figures or a pagoda or a hut. Both in a way symbolize an existential relationship with a greater power beyond oneself. To center it into the heart of the exhibition with the window installation was a way for me to create a kind of meditative space to think about some of these questions from you looking through these windows onto these kind of almost sci-fi like paintings as well. So you're being encouraged to follow through these different sort of like I say, timelines of existence. It was a way of trying to embody our human experience in this virtual like space that we have created on a global scale.
Well, Gordon, it's been fascinating learning more about the work, and thanks so much for taking the time out to talk to us.
Thank you.